As I sent in the invitation, today we are going to start the revision of the entire syllabus. Let us start with the first unit. First unit, as you all know, that is purely about the semiconductor switching devices. What is power electronics? Already we you know that what is power electronics, what are the application areas and etc. So after seeing that, we will slowly get into the switching devices. So each revision class, each unit may go for about two sessions. So this week entirely we are going to see what are all the devices that were covered in the first unit. It is just a revision only. Okay, so for that I have prepared two different material. One material last week also I have shown. I will send it to you, and another in the as a PowerPoint presentation. I think this is the content we are going to see. What is the structure and operation and characteristics of SCR, triac, power transistor, and of course power diodes, MOSFET and IGBT, and driver and snubber circuits for MOSFET, turn on and turn off characteristics and switching losses. This is common for all the devices. So, what is power electronics? So, usually the power engineering means a very high amount of power engineering deals with the static and rotating power equipment for generation transmission. The majority of the power producing and power consuming are rotating power equipments. So definitely conventional means they don't use any power electronics, existing power electronics, solid state semiconductor devices. They are not used. Conventional means maybe some 20, 30 years before. After that, they start realizing the importance of power electronic applications, and they started slowly. They introduced the particular power electronic circuits in the power engineering. So that concept only is called as power electronics. And I already told that what is the difference between applied electronics and power electronics. Applied electronics, it is electronics field or electronics engineering that is deals with the device area. Suppose if you are taking any devices, that devices may be used for power amplification, voltage amplification. Okay, some sort of modification we can do. So for that purpose also we can use. But as far as power electronics is concerned, these devices are exclusively used as a switching devices only. We are not expecting any of amplification, modification, higher or lower the amplitude and etc. These devices is going to help us as a different frequency operating switching devices only, nothing more than that. So if you see what are the power applications area in commercial application nowadays, after some, I told you, some 30 years back itself starts, heating system, ventilating, air conditioners, commercial application, central refrigeration, lighting. They say, for example, air conditioners in the sense means, so automatically it will regulate the compressor power. Compressor power. So earlier there is no any regulating method. So suppose, say for example, we are using air conditioners. We have set some 18 degrees Celsius for that room. Now it is about to reach 18 degrees Celsius, only 1 degree Celsius atmospheric temperature. So for that 1 degree Celsius, with the same speed of compression, compressor motor need not to be operating the same speed because only one more degree Celsius has to be approved. So for that, what is the speed required? That operation alone is enough. And another way, in other sense also I can say, after reaching 18 degrees Celsius, because of the people inside the particular air conditioned room, temperature may be keep on varying. That means it will try to increase the temperature. So once it reaches 18 degrees Celsius, compressor will automatically stop. After it is once again start rising also, the compressor has to function, and whatever the amount of heat that has to be taken away, that has to work has to be done. So for these applications, earlier some 30 years before, they don't have any power electronic components. So full power rating, full powered compressor is always operating or not operating. This is a two condition. Partial power rating of compressor is definitely not possible at that time without any power electronics. Now, after the power electronics field is emerged, engineering, power engineering field emerged, in air conditioners we have used. So that became one of the major applications. Power electronics, commercial applications, air conditioners. Likewise, lighting. So as we also know that in our home arts, we can able to dim, we can able to make it a zero brightness to full brightness. Whatever the percentage of brightness also we can able to do. Earlier, we don't have any mechanism like that. We can either on the lamp or off the lamp. We cannot have any illumination control of the particular light. That also is possible. Likewise, domestic application, cooking equipments, lighting, heating, air conditioner, refrigerators. Once again, commercial application, domestic application almost same. Especially if you see the industrial applications, they play power electronics play a very important role. That is especially pumps, compressor, blower, and fan. Because earlier these pumps has to be operate with a rated voltage always, or we are not operating. But here, what is the main purpose of pump? It has to pump either fluid or gas from one place to another place. So where the storage is there, from the storage place to here, where it is a record that has to be pumped. And likewise, compressor is nothing but after pumping that, we are just keeping whatever the gas is environment, whatever the thing, we are keeping it certain pressure, bar pressure. So for this purpose also, so once the compressor capacity is about to reach the full capacity, if the keep on pumping and try to accommodate the air completely inside, that may be bursting. That may be lead to a dangerous operation of compressor. So whatever may be the leakage of the particular compressor, that only has to be compensated. So automatically the pump need to be operating at a very low voltage only. That means low speed. So the pump is automatically coupled with the motor. That motor has to be operate very slow manner only. So this is how the power electronics application is coming to the picture. Especially nowadays, it is dominating in the industrial applications. Of course, it is also used in aerospace applications and telecommunications, especially telecommunication, battery chargers. Nowadays, we all see the chargers. So you see that earlier this charger is very heavy, very bulky. Definitely, it need a transformer, step down transformer. After the step down transformer, there should be some circuitry arrangement and etc. Nowadays, without having any, the transformer is completely can be eliminated from the charger part. Because of the bulky transformer is eliminated, charges are charger dimension is very small and it can be carried to any place very easily. And of course, it is highly reliable also because especially whenever we are introduce the power electronics component or switching devices, the reliability for the particular application is very much important. So very high reliability. So wherever you go, whenever you are putting a particular charger, definitely it will give whatever the assured DC supply for the particular charger. Suppose 12 volt, if it is maintained, because there is no any transformer. So, but whereas input voltage may vary. Say for example, 230 at one place, 190 at one place, irrespective of that, output voltage will be always 12 volt, always 19 volt. So that we can realize without transformer also. That is a very big important boost to the telecommunication area. Of course, in DC nowadays, uninterrupted power supply. Uninterrupted power supply means so direct online supply. So we are all supply the particular loads through the UPS, online UPS. Sometimes it is called as offline UPS also. When any power interruption comes, when power cut comes only, UPS will supply. Until that, the UPS will be operating as a charger. That is, it will convert the AC to DC and it will back to charging. But whereas in the online UPS, it is always charging. In addition to the charging, the converted DC power will be once again inverted and the loads will be always applied with the alternating current AC with a fixed specifications. What is the voltage, what is the frequency, even irrespective of the input variation. So of course, for mobile cell phone battery charges and all, we are able to realize very small size. You may see the what is the charges. These are all the advantages. These are all the applications of power electronics only. And of course, transportation. There only the marine engineering comes. That is traction control of electrical vehicles. You can able to completely control the torque and speed. Very important mechanical characteristics are speed and torque. So these two can be completely very precise to manner. We can able to control. At the same time, we need to charge because majority of the, of course, for electric vehicles, completely electrical propulsion and all, there is a need of battery chargers also. So that also we can use the power electronics and locomotives, streetcars, trolley buses, automobile electronic, including engine control, everything is possible by using power electronics. And utility systems in the sense it is very high voltage DC transmission. Of course, when the transmission line is more than 780 kilometer only, we prefer a HVDC transmission line. That's why we can't able to see very common. We are not because it is having some break-even distance because the investment and huge amount of component and all that is needed. That is why even though theoretically high voltage DC transmission is possible, but if you see whether it is economical aspect of that, after 780 kilometers of transmission line without any intermediate usage of power and all, I want to transmit the power from one place to another place, which is minimum of 780 kilometers only. There I can able to implement this type of HVDC transmission line. Of course, war compensation in the sense when any poor power factor. So of course we have to compensate the war. That is nothing but whatever may be the power factor. The reason for power factor is highly inductive nature. Because of that, if you are compensate that, the power is completely able to reach the load, whatever the generator. So war compensation, other things. These are all the main applications. Suppose if you are asked to write in examination or wherever, what are the power electronics applications, that you have to mention all these points. Of course, coming to the big revision part, we are going to see power diodes, power transistors, BJT, bipolar junction transistor, and power MOSFET. MOSFET means metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistors. And IGBT is insulated gate bipolar transistors and thyristors. Why this much switches we have to study? So for small power application, for some small power application, we can implement power diodes and power transistors. Suppose very high frequency of operation, power MOSFET and IGBT, very high power operation, SCRs thyristors can be used. Thyristor is a family of switching devices. In that, silicon control rectifier is one. Okay. So in that, SCR is there, DIAC is there, TRIAC is there, SCS, SCS, light activated SCR. These are all the devices belongs to the thyristor family. So we are going to see already, so these are all the switching devices. When you are deciding to go for knowing the power electronics, these are the switching devices you should know. So if you are asked to write a list down, what are all the switching devices? Means power diode, thyristor, power BJT, power MOSFET, insulated gate bipolar transistor, static induction SIT, and gate turn-off thyristors, forced commutator thyristors, line commutator thyristors, reverse conducting thyristors. So it is capable of reverse conducting. Okay, static induction thyristor, gate assisted thyristor, gate assisted turn-off thyristor, metal oxide semi-controlled thyristor. These are all the devices. If you are capable, I think as far as your syllabus concerned, we are having only power diodes, thyristor, power BJT, power MOSFET, IGBT, and of course GTO and force and line commutator thyristors. So these are only, we don't have any other thing like activator, and these are the very latest one. Okay. So first we will start with the power diodes. We already know that, that's your revision. So it is a PN junction. Basically, it is a PN junction diode formed by alloying and diffusion of epitaxial growth. Okay, so mainly the diodes having the following advantages. What is a very important advantage? High mechanical and thermal reliability. So for certain amount of power, we can we can rely on this device. It is having very high and thermal reliability, mechanical reliability also. It is having a very high peak inverse voltage also. That is a very important one, and very very low reverse current only. And when it is conducting, when it is switching acting as a switch, very very small amount of forward drop voltage only. So because of that, low reverse current and low forward voltage drop, automatically the losses are very less, and high efficiency is that is a very important assurance. And of course compactness. So for a very high same power rating compared to any other devices, it is having a very very high compactness. Okay. And of course after that, after knowing these things, this is basically PN junction diode made for silicon PN junction with the two terminals, anode and cathode. So these are all the advantages. After that, we should be able to draw it is characteristic. So usually this is a device symbol. This is a device symbol. We are having anode and cathode when it is connected to a supply. Okay, when it's connected to a DC supply and connected to a resistive load, when the forward bias is there, it will be conducting. The diode is reverse bias. When it's made as a positive with respect to anode, in the reverse bias also it will conduct, but it is having some potential. That is, after certain voltages, it can able to block the conduction. But when you see the forward bias, based on the particular current, okay, so based on the particular one, it is capable of immediately conducting. So these characteristics you have to draw. Mainly when we are employing that, so automatically if it is a supply, so at particular junction, if you see that that voltage is coming and almost it become zero. Okay, so this is how forward bias and why what will happen when the after the forward bias. So what is how it is really is blocked, how it is really blocking is the minority carrier storages and all recombinations. These all have happened that we have to explain. After that, the reverse recovery characteristics. Reverse recovery characteristics is very important. That is also maybe you may be asked with a thing when the reverse recovery. Okay, reverse recovery characteristic is much more important than the forward recovery characteristic because it adds recovery losses. So if the reverse recovery time, this is TRR, if it is more, automatically that will contribute to the losses also, switching losses. So whenever the whenever device is acting as a switch, definitely at the time of on and off, certain amount of energy will be wasted. Okay, so when it is reverse recovery time, this reverse recovery time, it is also adding additional losses to the switching losses. So the TRR should not be more. Okay, so for that there is a two different one. What is the time at which it becomes zero in the reverse recovery and reaches a maximum value that will be called as T1, and after that how much time it is required to come to a 25 percentage of the reverse recovery curve. 25 percentage of reverse recovery, that is called T2. So this T1 plus T2 only is TRR. So that is what we have mentioned. TRR is equal to T1 plus T2. The reverse recovery time measured from the initial zero crossing of the diode current to 25 percentage of the maximum reverse current. So if you are added that, so the reverse recovery current, how to add this means what is the T1, what is the rate at which current is changing. This is how to identify reverse recovery current. You may ask one question. So if you know the T1, if it is multiplied by what rate it is current is changing, what is the VIGT of the particular current waveform. That we have to multiply, that we can able to identify what is the reverse recovery current. That's all. This is this uh, when you are asking about the reverse recurring current, these we have to explain. As I told, reverse recovery characteristics more important than the forward recovery because forward is nothing. It is conducting out of the forward bias. This will be acting as a power circuit. So here power circuit is acting as a driving. Once it is crossing zero, automatically there will be a recombination of charges is happening. Current will be becoming zero. Okay, current is almost becoming positive of negative of and come to zero. So forward bias, minority carrier storage, and transition interval. So this, but reverse recovery characteristics is more important because this reverse recovery current or the reverse recovery time TRR can contribute okay much towards the transmission losses. That aspect this is important. So what is a forward current? It is coming when it's a diode is reverse bias, it will come to zero. It will not come stop here. It will take some more time because here only the recombination of charges is there. So you know the PN junction diode, P part and N part. So these carriers are crashing. So automatically the depletion layer is depleting. So when the forward bias is connected, almost depleting, it will allow the positive to negative. They are having that's a flow of electrons and carriers, charge holes and electrons can move. But when this comes to current zero, automatically it will not come zero. It will not form a depletion layer. There is a remaining holes and charges also, sir. So there is a need of recombination of the charges to make it zero. So that's why it will not become zero. Automatically it will go in the reverse direction and it will reach some maximum value. That current is IRR. That is nothing but what is the T1 time multiplied by dIdt. So by that we can able to know what will be the reverse recovery current. After that, at how much time it will take to become 25% of this reverse recovery current. So this is how we have to explain the reverse recovery time. Then after that, there are so many general purpose power diodes are the general purpose diodes and high speed fast recovery diodes. So fast recovery time means that means it is having a very less recovery time. So because why we are prefer the fast recovery diodes automatically if reverse recovery time is more automatically that lead to the losses because transmission losses is mainly depend on at the time of on and off. At the time of on, what will happen? Voltage will be coming down, current will be increasing. So the devices start conducting at the time the voltage across the device is coming down. So automatically this will make in a triangle. I will show it in the further slides. It will make in a triangle. So that will lead to some losses. After that, voltage is very less. Voltage drop is almost very less. So automatically there is no any much power dissipation. But at the same, when it's off, when the switching device is off also, what will happen? Voltage will become gradually increasing whereas current becomes zero. So there also one triangle is formed that will make one devices means these two losses has to be added. So that will be called as a switching loss. So this reverse recovery is contributing much towards the losses. So fast recovery means automatically we prefer the reverse recovery time very less. And this is how is there another one type is Scotty diodes. Okay, so fast recovery time, fast recovery diodes. So maybe asked with some 2 marks. That means the diodes having low recovery time, generally less than 5 microseconds. So reverse recovery time is less than 5 microseconds. So the major field of application is electrical power conversion and freewheeling and all. So the voltage ratings between so very much suitable for 1 amps to 100 amps. Voltage 50 volt to 3 kilovolt. For this type of operations, this reverse recovery are very much suitable. And another one type of diode is Scotty diode. Scotty diode. I think for this, just you know, 1 to 300 amps and a very high frequency of 100 to 300 hertz. For this application, we prefer Scotty diode. That's alone it is enough for them. Okay. So there's three different categories. One category we already see. This is a general purpose diode, and another one is a fast recovery diode. That also we know. And Scotty diodes, where we are preferring um, low voltage but high amps. So that only you have to keep it mind. General purpose diode up to 5,000 volt, 6,500 amperes is good. But if you see the reverse recovery time, it is almost equal to 25 microseconds. If you are allowing this much reverse recovery time, automatically it will lead to a very high loss. So we cannot operate this single purpose diode for a very high switching frequency, because switching frequency is deciding how much amount of power has to be transferred. So because the entire circuitry arrangement will act as a power modulator from source to load. In between that, there will be acting as a power modulator. So automatically, this general purpose diode cannot be used where the power electronics concept comes. That's the reason is usually normally the reverse record time is 25 microseconds. But the special purpose diode, that is with a fast recovery diode, the voltage rating 3003 kV and 1 kilo amps. But if you see the reverse recovery time very, very low, that is 0.1 microsecond to 5 microsecond. So because of that, I can able to use this because power electronics means very high fast operating switching, the switching frequency, high switching frequency. So if you want to have a high switching frequency, at the same time, we want to limit the losses. Okay, conduction losses. We prefer fast recovery diodes. Some small voltages where current rating is high, but up to 100 voltage I have to do. In that cases, very few nanoseconds only can be permitted. This is achieved by Schottky diodes. So power diodes can be used uh, in power electronics as a power modulator. Okay, mainly when the DC supply is coming, it is capable of converting, and we can able to use it for inverter also. Okay, so there is a three different way we can use. General purpose diodes are there, but normally why we are not using general purpose diode means general purpose diodes is having very high reverse recovery time. The reverse recovery time is nothing but the current not become naturally zero. It will take some more time for the recombination of the charges. Okay, holes and the electrons. Okay, so holes and the positive and negative charges. So recombination of charges. So because of that, it will go in the negative direction, and after that only it comes and reach the current zero instead of become zero. This operation time is called as reverse recovery time. So the mainly this T1 is contributing more because T1 is decided by how much time after it become current zero it will take to reach the rated reverse recovery current of the tire, plus how much time it will take to become 25% of the reverse recovery. So if you add these two, we are getting. So if this is happening some time. If this is take 25 microsecond, 25 microsecond means that is not acceptable. We cannot use it for very high switching frequency because each time it switch off, it will take 25 microseconds. Means my frequency is having some limitation. I cannot operate the particular device as a switch. Okay, so automatically I will go for fast recovery base and start with that. I think, and another one device is diag. Okay, it is having a four layer PN. Diag is a two terminal and four layer devices. If you see that the diodes are in anti-parallel, one diode is like this and another one diode is like this. So usually this is a structure, we will call it structure. This is a symbol. Actually, it is symbol only. When we are used in any circuitry arrangement, there only we have to use. But when we are describing the devices, we have to use the diag structure. It is a four-layer one. Okay, and sorry, it's a five-layer one, and having a two terminals. So mainly, these devices is can operate one at so one for the positive and another one for the another positive cycle. So that means it will conduct in this direction also. It can conduct in this direction also. So that's why diode will conduct the voltage applied across the device terminals T1 and T. It exceeds the breakover voltage, that we will say. And this is a diode characteristics. So when the forward conduction is there, up to certain voltages, it will not allow the current to flow. After, okay, this is a blocking state. This is a forward conduction blocking state. Here, what is the breaking? breaking of forward bias. So at this voltage, it start conducting. At this state voltage, until that, if you see that very small amount of leakage current only allowed. Likewise, in the reverse direction also, reverse blocking voltage, it can capable of blocking some voltage up to this point. After that only it will allow the conduction. Until that, very small amount only it will allow. That is a very important characteristic of diode. I think that is enough to know about diode. And once again, any clarification up to this? Any clarification?
No, sir.
No, we can go ahead. Okay. So far today 18 came, 18 reported, 18,
Yes, sir. Rating.
18.
எப்படி யூஸ் பண்ணிட்டேன் கால் தொடைக்கு இல்ல யூஸ் பண்ணிச்சுமா
So the same thing we are going to see as a presentation for this two devices. Okay, I'll share this. So this is about diode. When we are describing the diode, we have to very carefully draw the symbol of the diode. What is anode and cathode? What is the direction of current? So when it is, that is, anode is more positive than cathode, at that time current will be flowing from anode to cathode. So this is the VI characteristics of, or IV characteristics of diode. So automatically here it's completely is capable of blocking in the reverse bias. Up to this voltage, rated voltage, it is capable of blocking. That means if cathode is positive and anode is negative,
Hello.
up to this voltage, it will not allow the conduction. Okay, up to this voltage, it will not allow the conduction. So it is having a very high, good reverse blocking capability. Usually, the idealized characteristics we are representing like this. This is for the off, this is for the on. Okay, idealized characteristics. So this is a diode turn off. That's what we have seen that turn off. What is TRR? We have elaborately we have seen that. When you are describing about the diode turn off, when the current is become zero, actually it will not become zero. It will take some more time. That is called reverse recovery time. Just reverse recovery time for the combination of charges which is taking. So based on this reverse recovery time only, we are going to select a particular diode for the particular applications. Okay. So of course, when you're going to see the thyristors, when you're going to see the thyristors, okay, when you're going to see when you're going to see the thyristors is not like a diode. It is a three-terminal device. It's a three-terminal device, and we are having NPN. Okay, so three-layer device. So here, so not only the device has to be make forward bias, there will be a triggering signal also that we have to apply to the gate region. After that only it start conduction. So once it start conduction, the remaining things are similar to that of diode. But here, until the triggering signal is given, okay, even though the voltage is applied, okay, it will not on. But if we are increasing the forward bias voltage, dV by dt rating very exponentially, if you keep on increasing the voltage, that dV by dt is more, okay, automatically that may be on. So that is there only we have to be very much careful. If voltage is forward bias, this device is forward bias, that is anode is more positive than cathode. At that time, it will not start conducting. It will wait for the gate signal. Once the gate is triggering pulses is applied, then only it starts conducting. Here only it facilitates a controlled operation of devices. So if you are using the diodes in any power electronic circuits, especially converters arrangement, they are all called uncontrolled circuit array. We cannot have control. Power circuit only is controlled. When the power circuit is applying certain voltages, it will control. When it is reverse, suppose the AC supply is applied across one diode. When it will be forward bias, where definitely in the positive half cycle only it will be forward bias. When the negative half cycle comes, automatically the anode terminal become more negative than cathode. Automatically that will be making a reverse bias. So because of the reverse bias, the reverse blocking capability coming to the picture, automatically that will avoid the particular conduction. Okay, prevent the conduction. But here it's totally uncontrolled. Power circuit alone is capable of controlling it. But when we are introducing the gate terminal, okay, then another one layer of the particular devices, this triggering of this gate will facilitate the conduction. When we trigger only it will conduct. So automatically I can keep on monitoring